In this video, we're going to be taking a look at division with two-digit divisors. Now, you will need your Go Math book out, your math journal, and a pencil. Now, the essential question I want you to write down in your math journal is how can you use base 10 blocks to model and understand division of whole numbers? So you will also need to just take a look at the base 10 blocks there on page 69, and we're also going to look at how we can draw base 10 blocks. Okay. So it's important to kind of understand that, and that's what we're going to use as we go throughout the video. Now let's take a look at page 69, and it says investigate. Now if you are in class, I do want you to pause the video and go get some base 10 blocks. If you're at home, you're just going to need to take a look at what I have up here on my screen. Alright, now it says there are 156 students in the Carville Middle School chorus. The music director wants the students to stand with 12 students in each row for the next concert. How many rows will there be? Okay, now the first thing that we need to do is we need to use base 10 blocks to model the dividend 156. Now, where am I getting 156 from? I'm getting 156 right up here in my problem because there are 156 students in chorus. That poor chorus teacher. So the first thing we need to do is get the base 10 blocks and represent 156. Now we know that 1 right here equals 100. Okay, we know each of these represents 10. So that's 110, 120, 130, 140, 150, and then we need 156, so 6 ones. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, and then 6. Okay, so this represents 100, 110, 120, 130, 140, 150, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, for a total of 156. Now the next step, you can see it right there in letter B, we need to place the 2 of the 10s, 1, 2 of the 10s here, okay, below the 100 to form a rectangle. Okay, now why are we doing 2 10s? The reason why, we know that this represents 10, and then placing 2 below it, each row right here has 12 in it. Okay, so you can see each row there has 12 in it. All right, now how many groups of 12 does a rectangle show? All right, the rectangle shows 10 groups of 12. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, all the way down to 10. So that's why we place those 2 right underneath the 100 there. Okay, so on letter B, we can write 10 for the first answer. Now, how much of the dividend is not shown in the rectangle? We can see we have 10, 20, 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so 36 is still not represented within our rectangle here. We need to do something with this 36. Okay, so what we need to do for letter C, it says combine the remaining 10s and 1s into as many groups of 12 as possible. How many groups of 12 are there? So we're going to take each of these 10s, and I went back to that other screen, and we're going to put 2 1s right next to each of these 10s. Okay, why are we putting the 2 1s? Because it needs to represent 12. Okay, so we had 10 groups of 12 with our 100 and our 2 10s. Then we can see we have 3 more groups of 12. See, it's very easy to see there. Okay, so how many groups of 12 can be made from the remaining 10s and 1s? So we can see from the previous screen that we had 3 new groups that we made. Okay, so 3. Okay, so it says for letter D, place these groups of 12 on the right side of the rectangle to make a larger rectangle. Okay, so I didn't spin these around, but we can easily see what we're doing here. Okay, so we can see that this final, the way we have all of our base 10 blocks and all that laid out, we can see that it shows 13 groups of 12. So for letter E, I want you to write down 13 groups of 12. That's what's represented. So because that's what's represented, we can see there will be 13 rows of 12 students. So within the previous videos, we were looking at dividing, multiplying, subtracting, checking, and bringing down for the steps. But if you use base 10 blocks and so on, you're able to not do that necessarily, but to kind of visually see how everything's being divided up. Okay, it's important to know, let's take a look at page 70. It says at the top, the two sets of groups of 12 that you found in the investigate are partial quotients. First you found 10 groups of 12, and then you found 3 more groups of 12. Sometimes you may even need to regroup before you can show a partial quotient. Okay, so you can see at the upper right hand corner there, okay, we had to add the two partial quotients together to eventually get 13. Okay. Okay, now we're going to use quick pictures here. And if you're at home, you probably already did this, but if not, if you're at school, still use quick pictures. You won't always have access to base 10 blocks wherever you go. Okay, so we're going to take a look at 180 divided by 15. All right, and first of all, we need to model the dividend 180 as 100. Okay, right here, that's square, and then the tens will just be lines that you can draw. So there's 100, 110, 120, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. Okay, so that's 180. Okay, so we have the dividend. It says model the first partial quotient by making a rectangle with the 100 and 5 tens, and the record, cross out the 100 and tens that you use. So we can see there's my 100, here's my tens, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, okay, so we'll cross this out. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, it is important to know that the rectangle does show also 10 groups here of 15. Now, why do we know it's 15? Because we know it's 10 going down in this 100, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 10 going down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 equaling the 10 groups of 15 there. Okay, now step 2. Okay, what we have here is we cannot necessarily, additionally, as you can see for step 2, groups of 15 cannot be made without regrouping. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to regroup 110, like I did over here. We'll cross that out. Okay, and we have 10 ones here. So we'll cross that out. We regrouped it. Okay, now what we can see, there are two groups, 1, 2. There are now 2 tens and also 10 ones. Okay, now for step 3, decide how many additional groups of 15 can be made with the renaming tens and ones. The number of groups is the second partial quotient. Okay, so what we can see here is we have our tens and then our ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so how many additional groups are there total? There are 2 more additional groups of 15. You can see right here, already added to my 10 groups there. Okay, so we see for step 3, all right, we see that there are now 12 groups of 15. Okay, how do we know that? We had our partial quotient of 10, our partial quotient of 2. We added those two together. 10 and 2 gives us 12. 12 groups of 15. So 180, it should be 13. I'm sorry, 15. 180 divided by 15 is 12. Okay, 143 divided by 13. Okay, we're going to take a look at this one. So we have a quick picture here. We know that this represents 13. Okay, there's 10 going down and then 1, 2, 3 representing 13. Now, this partial quotient for my 100 equals 10. There's 10 columns of 13, and then we also have one more column of 13 here representing 1. Okay, 10 plus 1 gives me 11. So 143 divided by 13 is 11. This also all represents 143. Okay, so we had our 2 partial quotients. 143 divided by 13 equals 11. Okay, now we have 165 divided by 11, and I want you to write in your book just what I have right here. All the base 10 blocks and so on equals 165. I ordered them. You can see that I needed groups of 11. So we know that this 100 represents 10 going down, and then adding another one across gives us 11. So this is 10 groups. Okay, then that's my partial quotient, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more groups here that equal 11. Okay, so 10 plus 5 equals 15. And I want you to draw this right in your book, and then you can move on to the next problem. Okay, so here's another problem. I want you to do this all by yourself. You need to remember that you have to represent 216, and you have to have groups of 18. Now, just remember that the 100 represents 10 and then stack right underneath them. Okay, so I want you to draw a picture representing 216 divided by 18, and when you're finished you can press play and I will have the answer for you. So pause the video now. Okay, so here we have 216 divided by 18, and we can see that this is a partial quotient representing 10. Okay, so it's always good to try to figure out how to get 10 as your partial quotient, and then kind of go from there. So we have 10 right here, and then we have two more groups of 18. Add those two partial quotients together. 10 plus 2 equals 12. Okay, I want you to work through this problem all by yourself. When you're finished, you can press play. I will have the answer for you. I want you to draw it out, representing 196 divided by 14. Remember, try to find 10 for your first partial quotient and then go from there. So pause the video now. Okay, so you can see here's my answer. I have a partial quotient of 10 once again. And then adding that 10 to my other partial quotient, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 equaling 14. So 10 plus 4 equals 14. Okay, I want you to take a look at the test prep problem here on the screen. And I want you to work through this problem all by yourself. When you're finished, you can press play. I will have the answer for you. So pause the video now. So you can see that letter A was the answer. 195 divided by 15 equals 13. Okay, why do we know it's divided by 15? Okay, why do we know it's 195? First of all, this is 100, 110, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, and these are all groups of 5 here. 85, 90, 195. Why is it divided by 15? We can see 15 rows here. Okay, so this is 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, now for the quotient, okay, we have a partial quotient of 10 and then a partial quotient of 3, giving me 13. So to wrap up the video, the essential question: how can you use base 10 blocks to model and understand division of whole numbers? First, I would use hundreds, tens, and 1 blocks to model the dividend. Then I would use 100 block and 10 blocks to show 10 groups having the same number as the divisor. I would use the rest of the blocks to make more groups of the same size. As I work, I may have to regroup hundreds or tens. So this wraps up the video on division with 2-digit divisors using base 10 blocks. If you have any questions about this concept, please come and see me.